Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the November 7th, 2020 edition of Pro Wrestling Throwdown. I'm Caleb Black, Luke the Big Dog Williams, our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury, and It's time for Top 5 heels. We're going to talk about the top 5 heels we think are the top 5 heels in the history of the wrestling business. Baby boy, start us off with your number 5.
Maximus?
No, you.
Oh,
Actually, Caleb, you are the youngest. So
That's true. Well, if I'm going to start us off, my top 5 spot goes to Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George.
Fair.
Gorgeous.
The original Gorgeous George, not the chick with mop.
Yeah, no, the guy. The original Gorgeous George.
I was just clarifying for
Yeah, there are 2 separate Gorgeous Georges.
It's actually 3. But.
Yes. But yes, the original Gorgeous George was the first flamboyant heel in the 1950s and 1960s, kind of set the tone for what would later become wrestling gimmicks. Would come out, would constantly refer to how his hair is done and wear the flashy robes and do
his hair
those
and curls.
Do those little ostentatious things in the ring that would agitate a crowd, especially in Southern territories whenever you're not supposed to be a pretty man.
Right.
So for that reason alone, setting the tone for heel gimmicks, Gorgeous George, my number 5. Max?
I'm gonna go with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Good call.
Bring that one-armed.
I know you're near, Snake.
I know you're near, Sunday.
No, Jake the Snake Roberts is a good pick. Jake was never as believable as a good guy as he was a heel.
Right. No. And, again, physically, aesthetically, not being sort of the Adonis prototype, being a larger guy who was kind of out of shape and kind of looked like just a no-good son of a bitch anyway. One of the few times...
Looked like he could have been the uncle that whipped your ass.
Right. And one of the few times where he had all of the perfect elements, the right voice, the right look, the right attitude. That's a great pick for 5.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
My number 5, the Honky Tonk Man.
Okay.
Probably back in the day would be considered, in my opinion, the greatest Intercontinental Champion. Because back then he held it for so long when the title wasn't defended every month on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It was at house shows, constantly, every day, putting the title on the line. He held it for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Plus the heat, getting the heat that he got, trying to hit Elizabeth with the guitar, nailing the Macho Man, fucking up Jake's Robert's neck with the gimmicked guitar. Honky Tonk Man, number 5.
I think that's a good pick. My number 4 is the Iron Sheik.
Ooh,
most people think that he would have been a little higher on the list, but the Iron Sheik was the most hated man in wrestling in the late 70s and the early 80s. There was no better way to bring wrestling fans together than to put a wrestler with an accent in front of them because they could always draw off of the nationalism aspect. Not to mention, Iron Sheik backed it up in the ring, was double tough, and worked those gimmicks. And you know, the Hulk Hogan beating the Iron Sheik for the world title is Babe Ruth calling the shot in the wrestling business at that time. That's how fans perceive it. For that reason, Sheik, number 4.
Well, Sheik was gonna be my next one. So I gotta just kind of tail off of that and say Sergeant Slaughter. Because Sergeant Slaughter, now given he was for a long time, he was face, he's Mr. USA. But if you remember that run where he turned and was anti-USA and
the stuff he did with Hogan.
He pulled off of that.
It was the Hail Hydra moment for Sergeant Slaughter because he's America's hero.
Yeah, and the business he did with Hogan at that time as him being the Iraqi sympathizer and stuff.
Yeah.
Like literally having to WrestleMania 7.
You really wanted to hate
WrestleMania 7 was supposed to be in an outside venue, and because of Sergeant Slaughter and his shit, they had to move it inside due to death threats.
Yeah.
That I did not know
that. Yeah. Yeah, they had to bring. Vince McMahon sent a police detail to Sergeant Slaughter's house.
Look, who's your number 4?
Number 4, playing off of Sergeant Slaughter, Hollywood Hulk Hogan at number 4.
Again, the story of America's hero turning heel.
Yep, except he crushed millions of children by doing what he did, coming out telling them they could stick it.
Yeah.
And this, that, and the other. And then, of course, things infamous. No, you know what? You stick it.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, number 4.
Yeah.
I don't even have to explain.
Nope. I get it. My number 3 is actually a tied spot. It's tied between beautiful Bobby Eaton, Sweet Stan and the James E. Cornette, the greatest heel tag team heel group in the history of professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
Midnight Express.
The Midnight Express.
Yeah, good tag team, man. Good heat.
Best tag team heat getters would literally have to get escorted out of their venues by security constantly because they were getting their hair pulled and rocks thrown at them. People have tried to stab Bobby Eaton multiple times. Greatest heel tag team in the history of wrestling. Number 3, Midnight Express.
I sitting here thinking about it, and Chris Jericho popped into my head.
That's a fair point.
And granted, Chris Jericho has been back and forth, face heel, neutral, this, that, and the other. But of all the guys that can draw heat, just rawly draw heat when they want to, Chris Jericho is way up there.
Oh, yeah, he's up
I
there.
agree.
He was always better heel than he was face.
And you got to remember, too, heel run he had in 08 didn't let them make any shirts of him, didn't let them produce any of his merchandise, would come to the ring without any music. I mean, he really, when he went heel, he was like, well, why would you have a shirt of me? Like, why would people want to buy that? It's only going to encourage them to not understand that I'm a heel. So cost himself money in the process, but man, what a fucking heel run.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Number 3, for me, without a doubt, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
That's a great pick.
The only man in the world that could come to the ring and get people to do what he wanted them to do and offer them a crisp $100 bill.
Yep.
Rob
Not
Van
to mention, legitimately in real life, robbed a bunch of money from the state through faulty churches. So
yeah, Ted
That's a real
DiBiase, ultimate heel. I mean, had the $1 million. I can't purchase the title. I'll make my own.
Yeah.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
That's
Kind of sounds familiar.
Remind me that his son's got a birthday coming up.
It does.
Yep.
In prison.
In prison. My number 2, Rowdy Piper.
God, that's a good one.
Quintessential heel.
There's an argument for that to be made as number 1.
Yes, there is. The ultimate buffer for Hogan, the ultimate buffer for really any babyface at the time. You could pit him against Dusty. You could pit him against Flair. You could pit him against Hogan, Macho. Hell, even the Warrior if you would have had to.
Bad News Brown.
Bad News Brown never held a major world title, was never world champion, never needed to be. Roddy Piper, number 3, the baddest guy in the room. Number 2, sorry.
Number 2, Max?
Man, we're really narrowing it down, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say though, kind of drawing a little bit of a blank here because
What happens?
Heels.
Yeah.
Luke, give me yours, and we'll come back to this.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
All right. My number 2 heel, Vince McMahon.
See, I was gonna say Vince, but
That's genius.
Mr. McMahon is the number 2 heel, and I think with the corporation, the battles with Stone Cold, the battles with Bret, his real life situation, there's an argument to be made that he's the greatest.
I
of all
agree.
time.
I completely agree with that.
But
Arguable.
I'm going with 2 because we all know who number 1 is.
Yes.
So. Do what?
I said that's arguable.
Yeah. So give us your number 2, and then we can get talking about number 1.
Well, then, because I know I agree on number 1. I think that's going to be unanimous.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to, and we argued about this earlier, and I am going to go with my man, the most dangerous letters in wrestling, RKO, Mr. Randy Orton.
I don't think any
And
argument.
the argument is Randy Orton goes back and forth. He's face, heel, he's neutral, he's the set. He can be, the man is, he is a god and he can do anything.
The Triple H.
But he is the guy that you, when you love him, you love to love him, and when you hate him, you love to hate him.
Yeah. The Triple H handcuffed to the ring.
And him dropping.
And him punting Stephanie.
Yeah.
And then getting in real close, looking at Triple H and kissing her. Oh, my gosh.
Not to mention Triple
You dirty, vile son of a bitch.
Not to mention Triple H showing up in St. Louis to his house and busting through his windows and stuff. One of the greatest
That terrible actress. They put the scream in post-production.
Yeah.
So bad. However, that brings us to number 1. And it is... Woo! The limousine ride. Jet flying. kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. The dirtiest player in the game for a reason, Daddy.
The reason he's number one, in my opinion, is because you never took him seriously as a good guy.
No.
You were always waiting
No
for
one
the
was
other shooter to
sympathetic
die.
for Ric Flair.
You always had it in your head. All right, what's his end game?
Yeah, what's he
You were
going to do?
always
here?
waiting for that other
Yeah.
shoe to drop.
Who's he manipulating here? Is it this guy over here? Is it this guy over here? Because you know he's telling 5 different people 6 different things.
Right.
Yep, Ric Flair,
And it gets no better than Ric Flair.
dirtiest player in the game, the number one heel ever in professional wrestling. Guys, thank you for watching the top 5. Let us know what you think about it. Who are some of your favorite heels in wrestling? Let us know in the comments down below after you like and subscribe.
2 inch? Were they 6
Send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/prowrestlingthrowdown. Follow us on Twitter at prowrestlingtd. And stay tuned for the Wreck of the Week. Oh, yeah, not to mention, find us on Twitch because we live stream every week.
I didn't forget about you.
And stay tuned for the Wreck of the Week coming up.